When we begin learning how to do analytical drawing, we have to start with the basics. And the basic form that we use in analytical drawing is the box. The reason why we start with such a simple shape is that when we're doing analytical drawing, more complex objects that we draw, we have to start with that box because that box represents the space that that object exists in. We also practice using a box because we have to practice being very precise with and observant with the angles and the lines that we're drawing. And so a good way to practice that at the very beginning is with a really simple shape, okay? The shape that we can find anywhere in our home. Okay, so I am going to start with a printed out image of a box. You might have that image on your screen. And so you'll be doing kind of the same process that I am, okay? So I'm going to start with drawing something that's called a construction line. A construction line are these imaginary lines that we draw that help us see the angles and the direction of each edge of the object that we're drawing, okay? So these imaginary lines tend to extend past the line of the actual object, the edge of the actual object. So if I am going to start trying to draw this box as accurately as I can, so the exact size here is going to be the exact size of my drawing. I'm going to start by really looking at the edge, right? So I'm going to use my pencil as a way to just kind of look at and really see the direction of that line. So the first line I'm going to start to draw, and notice how I'm using that gesture, that nice gesture line. It extends way past. This is much longer than I actually need to draw it, but that's okay because it's called a construction line. So this next line or edge is at an angle. So I'm going to take my pencil and I'm going to line it up, and I can see the angle of that line. And so now I'm going to draw that line here and kind of I can check. I'm going to check my angle here, check it here. It's a little tiny bit off, so I'm going to adjust it. I'm going to adjust the angle of that line. Okay. Now this back line here, it's not quite straight. And so I want to make sure, again, this is straight, this is at an angle. So I want to make sure that I get the correct angle. Okay. Analytical drawing is a very nitpicky type of drawing, but it really trains your eye and your mind to see the angles of the line, angles and edges of the object that you're drawing. You can't do that, you can't draw things accurately. Notice how, again, I'm extending all of my lines past the actual edge of the object. I can kind of see how long this edge is. It's about the length of my pencil. And so it's going to stop here. Okay, so I can kind of make sure that that's correct. This is straight up and down. This is also, I know that these two lines are parallel. But again, you always got to check. And then this last line here. There. And now I can kind of look at it. I can see it's going to look different on your end because you're watching my video from upside down. I'm looking at it right side up. It's a little bit bigger than the actual picture, but I did want you to be able to see the drawing from the demo. Okay? Now, if you finish this a little bit ahead of time, you could, if you have time, go in and start adding some of the details because it is an Amazon box. So I can go in again. I can look at the angle of that line here, the tape, the piece of tape that goes across the top of it. I can add the little Amazon arrow, etc. Okay, you can add some details. if you finish early. But really the most important thing is that you're paying very, very close attention and that you're going back in, or attention to the edges, and you're going back in to double check your angles, that they are accurate.